you. You cock-sucking motherfucker. Why did you do that? You killed 2 babies and ruined 2 families. Motherfucker.
Bobby, engaging the audience again.
You know, people wonder why I hate God, hate religion. There was one more insult. At the funeral, the priest, what a piece of shit, the priest has the audacity, the malice, to tell my grieving parents that their son, my brother, would not be allowed into heaven because of some technicality. He's going to have to spend eternity in purgatory, which, if you don't know, isn't heaven or hell. It's kind of like, I don't know, Kansas, I guess. With all due respect to Kansas, can you imagine spending eternity in Topeka? You couldn't. No. Could you? No, you couldn't. Well, that's purgatory. Fuck God. Fuck the priest. Fuck the saint. Fuck them all.
All done, homie.
Well, this will be good for a laugh. Let's see what he's got.
Lighting broadens. Now includes Tony. Tony handing the sketch to Bobby. The screen stage right comes alive, depicting a pencil portrait of Bobby on his best day. Bobby looking at the portrait, then up at Tony.
That's pretty good. You made me look good, so what?
I told you I have talent, homie.
Lights go down on Bobby. Cell spotlight on Tony, walking to the edge of the stage, speaking through the fourth wall.
I could have been somebody. I could have done something great, but bad luck never let me breathe. It never got up long enough for me to stand tall. I've been giving gifts I've never been able to use. I have been living with these gifts, trying to find a way to use them. The pain and the poverty kept getting in the way. And I will die knowing that could have been somebody people respected, somebody people loved. If only life wasn't so hard, so determined to crush me.
Lights out. Act 2, Scene 2. The cell, night. The lighting low, a yellow street lamp cast. The screen stage right displays the night lights of Corte Madera. The screen stage left displays an image of an empty tier. Hands, arms extending from cells. Tony, Bobby, living according to Bobby's line of demarcation. Bobby doing push-ups, Tony lying on his bunk, hands behind his head, eyes closed. Bobby's face, body healing. Tony's face, body worsening. Bobby on his feet looking down at Tony.
You shouldn't have lied to me.
Lied to me.
So 2 wrongs make a right?
Homie, you're an expert at making no sense. You got a real genius for it.
Fuck you.
There are no clocks. There is no time. The lights are dim in every cell. Thousands of men lying on bunks, shadowboxing, masturbating under blankets. The prison block is silent. A voice rises, a white convict, country, singing a Hank Williams song.
I've never seen a night so long as time goes crawling by. The moon just went behind the clouds to hide its face and cry. Did you ever see a robin when leaves begin to die? Like me, he's lost the will to live, and I'm so lonesome I could cry.
Country's voice decreasing slowly into the background, then silence. The lighting dimming on Tony, rising on Bobby, running in place, shadowboxing by the toilet.
Homeboy sings that every night. He's doing life for killing his fiancée, and he's so lonely. He could cry. It's like an episode of The Twilight Zone. In the early evenings, blacks rap about the ghetto. During the middle evening, A Mexican tenor sings songs about good times and joy, always closing with despairing ballads about love and loss. Later, After Lights Out is reserved for country and songs about loss, despair, failure, and loneliness. Each race shows respect by keeping their mouths shut when other races are making their music. That's the arrangement. Respect for the music. To violate that would be cause for a race war.
Country's voice moving to the foreground, singing the opening lines to San Quentin, a Johnny Cash song.
San Quentin, what good do you think you do? You think I'll be different when you're through? You bend my heart and mind, you work my soul, and your stone walls turn my blood a little cold. San Quentin, may you rot and burn in hell. May your walls fall, and may I live to tell. May all the world forget you ever stood, and may all the world regret you did no good.
Country's voice shrinking into silence.
Where's the mania? I miss my mania. Oh, it's been so long. When I'm manic, I don't hear voices. I hear symphonies, otherworldly and beautiful. I want to hear the music.
Recording in progress.
I want to hear the music again. I want to speak poetry again. The only happiness I've ever known is when I'm manic.
The stage goes black. The screen upstage center comes to life. The series of shots are pre-recorded and will be presented like cinema, experienced in a movie theater. Red, Cornbread standing at the cell door opening. Red stepping in. Cornbread standing guard at the gates. Series of shots. Bobby turning from the sink. Tony moving on his bunk until his back is against the wall. Red rushing Bobby, throwing a right hook. Bobby ducking, countering with a right. Red blocking it. Bobby kicking Red in the groin. Red doubling over. The punches, pain, grunts, heavy breathing heard through the speakers. Bobby throwing a vicious uppercut, hitting Red square in the jaw. Red's head snapping back. Tony watching from the bunk. Bobby throwing an elbow, cutting Red across the face, blood gushing from his broken nose. Bobby throwing a left. Red staggering back. Bobby wearing Red down punch after punch. Red collapsing, trying to breathe. Bobby standing over Red, back to the cell door, kicking Red in the head. The air rushing from Red. Cornbread entering the cell, punching Bobby behind the ear. Bobby falling to the floor. Cornbread wearing heavy work boots, preparing to stomp Bobby's head. Tony leaping on Cornbread's back, arms around his neck. Bobby getting up. Cornbread swaying, thrusting backwards. Tony's head hitting the steel rail of the upper bunk. Tony falling to the floor. Bobby throwing a right to Cornbread's temple. Cornbread collapsing to the floor. Bobby breathing heavily.
Kill him. Go ahead, kill him. Motherfucker. The fuck, this piece of shit. Make him pay. My God.
Bobby kicking Cornbread, stomping him. Bobby falling to his knees, strangling Cornbread. Tony reaching out, hugging Bobby, pleading.
Don't, homie.
Bobby throwing Tony aside, rising, grabbing the shank he'd made, stepping over Cornbread, kneeling next to Red, raising the shank high, ready to plunge it into Red's chest.
Go ahead, kill the fucking got his heart. He thinks you're a punk. Stick on somebody to stop.
Stop, don't do it. Please. You'll be charged with murder. He's not worth it.
Bobby going limp, looking around the cell, released from a bloodlust back to humanity, dropping the shank, looking at Tony, Red, Cornbread lying on the floor.
You had a chance to be great. You
Bobby, hands over his ears, trying to block the voices.
Get the fuck away from me.
Silence. The regular sounds of the prison return, heard through the speakers. Bobby shaking, turning to Tony.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm okay.
Tony wringing his hands, looking at them.
Look at me.
Tony raising his head, looking at Bobby, their eyes meeting, locking.
Thank you.
Tony, trembling, Bobby rising, picking up an empty milk carton, ripping it open, filling it with toilet water, splashing the water on the floor at the feet of Red Cornbread. Bobby walking to the open cell door, stepping onto the tier, shouting,
Man down. Man down!
End series of shots. The screen goes black. The stage darkens until nothing can be seen. Lights out. Scene 3. The hole. Solitary confinement. The stage is completely dark. The screen, stage left, right, flare, white light. Strobe lights flash. Staccato pulse of light, shadow, and disorientation. In front of the screen, stage right, Tony, a shadow performing the pain he's experiencing through movements, dance, psychological gestures. In front of the screen, stage left, Bobby doing the same. The lights, monitor, extinguishing stage left completely. The monitor, stage right, continuing to burn. Tony continuing with his anguished movements, collapsing on the concrete slab which serves as a bunk, solitary confinement. Siren sounding throughout the theater, then stopping, followed by silence. The monitor, stage right, going dark, the spotlight on Tony.
I want you to testify that you saw Robert STRACONY attempt to murder 2 men, MAURO. You do this, I'll make sure you receive all the treatments you need and full canteen privilege.
Please stop.
Tony speaking fourth wall.
Please stop, Officer Landon. Please stop. They slipped. The floor was wet because the toilets backed up and they slipped. Red hit his head. Cornbread slipped, hit his head on the bunk, and he broke Red's nose when he fell. Like I've been telling you.
You're gonna rot alone in that cell. Nobody will know what happened to you. Nobody will remember you. I'll make sure you die alone like a fucking leper.
The monitor, spotlight is extinguishing stage right. Monitor begins burning again, stage left. Bobby, interpreting his disorientation, confusion, and fear with movement.
STRACONY, I know what happened in there. Your cell gave you up.
The monitor going black, the spotlight on Bobby.
Fuck you, Landon. You're lying.
Admit you assaulted those men, I'll go easy on you.
Now you listen to me. I know that you let them into the cell. I know who you are. My attorney hired private detectives. I know you're a white supremacist. The man who really runs this yard. Red? He's just your front. We have pictures. We have documents. We have testimony. My attorney's ready to file paperwork on you, motherfucker. The only person who can keep this shithouse from falling down on you is me. Do you understand that? It's me. You listen to me, or I will have my attorney fuck you up. You understand me? You listening?
Go ahead.
You treat me well, and we're good. You fuck me, and you're done.
Why should I believe you?
Willing to risk everything to find out? Yeah. You will release me and my cellie from the hole right now. You will back off and leave us alone. If anything happens to me or my cellie, my lawyer will go to the FBI, the warden, the courts with the evidence that he has. Is that clear? Now open the cell door, motherfucker.
The sound of a cell door opening through the speakers. Bobby miming stepping out of the hole. The lights extinguishing stage left. Rising stage right on Tony lying on the concrete slab. The lighting, stable, subdued.
Rise and shine, beautiful. Time for you to go back to your cell.
Tony springing to his feet. The sound of a cell door opening. Tony miming stepping out of the hole. Lights out. Time for a break.
End of Act 1. Great job, actors.